Good morning. I'm higher vibrations and so are you. And welcome to this new experience. There's a lot of stuff happening for a lot of people right now, and it has been for a while. But it's only been over the past handful of years that I've even known what this is called. Ascension symptoms are an experience. Typically, it's a physical experience. That's the one that most of us can relate to, and that we didn't realize we'd been having a lot of them for a while. However, a symptom of ascending could also be perceiving certain things or having certain gifts turn on. So there are a lot of different ascension symptoms going on for a lot of us, but the most typical one we will find is the ear ringing, and that's been really off the charts lately. Also, the extrasensory feeling the energy. Like, a lot of us have assumed or wondered if it was like even a bug crawling on you or a weird hair, but just on different parts of your skin. And that's that new perceiving that we're having turning on right now. Dizziness, the experience of vertigo, all of a sudden feeling like you're gonna faint. Weird eating habits. That's one of the things that has been really interesting for me to trace. I mean, I started out as a complete carnivore, and I very slowly removed things from my diet that I was noticing my body was starting to reject, as if I had a meat allergy. I slowly stopped eating all meat as a result. And then it was other things, certain kinds of processed foods, then, on and on, until finding myself being a full-on vegan. And this is not untypical. However, it's not like a lot of us have been finding that over a period of time after having been a vegan for several years, all of a sudden having this craving for meat. And, that's another part of this experience. Our bodies tell us what we need at what time we need it. For the longest time, I ate breakfast, and it made me sick. I would feel unwell for 2 or so hours after I ate it, but I did it because that's the healthiest meal of the day. And for me, that's not true. For you, it may be true. I found that for my body, I started to listen to those things, and I stopped eating breakfast, and also slowly realized I didn't have any need for lunch either. I typically have an early dinner. And that's called intermittent fasting, not eating for 16 or 18 hours each day, and then also, at some point finding that you're now hungry. However, appetite and desire to eat is fluctuating. There's this thing that a lot of us experience called unplanned fasting, and many of us are going through that again right now. Unplanned fasting is when you just started to listen to your body and you realized, oh, my body didn't want this meal right now, and before long you realize, oh, I haven't eaten all day, or I haven't eaten for so many days. Our bodies don't always need all that food, and sometimes it does. So please consider your own health. And, if there's certain elements such as diabetes or something like that you need to be aware of, please pay attention to that and listen to your body, because your body will tell you. I found that for me to develop a relationship with my body, it took some time. It was as if I was in this relationship with my body being a child that I had neglected and just not listened to, and also caused, just disharmony with. And it took a while to regain that rapport, to gain the trust. As I picked up each thing that my body was asking me to do or to not do, I found that it was easier to understand it. Perhaps I was picking up the language, but then I noticed that my body's more willing to share that information with me now, knowing that I will listen. So with that diet stuff also includes an incredible amount of water needed in our body right now. It's amazing how much water we intake, and as we get these plasma upgrades, so we're getting all these solar flares, it's a crazy astronomical number. And the odds of it happening for us is really not that common, not as common as you'd think. And having had so many solar flares since, the beginning of this year is really what I've been tracking it the most, and how surprised everyone has been. Science has acted as these have been coming in. This is giving us this plasma. It's upgrading us. We have this stuff that scientists have been calling junk DNA. 90 to 95% of each of our DNA supposedly was garbage. It was just extra stuff and they just threw it in there. And now we're finding that, surprise, it's actually dormant DNA. It's DNA that you can use right now. And it's just been turned off and also perhaps ignored. If we don't use a muscle, there is atrophy. And if we've never used that muscle, we don't know how to move it, right? And so as these things come on, some weird, bizarre stuff is happening to a lot of us. We're noticing interacting with technology has been very bizarre. And that has a lot to do with some other things too. But for, watching as you touch your phone while it's charging, when you touch it, that it suddenly increases in its charge. Lights and so on, flickering, television not wanting to work, just all of these kinds of things happening. There's a static electricity charge to a lot of other things. We're also noticing and perceiving things from the corner of your eye, more light behind your head that you don't maybe always see in its full on, but in the peripheral vision in the corners of your eye, or like I said, the shine from behind, where you're seeing these things. These new things are coming in. The channeled message I got not too long ago was that the veil is gone. The veil, the great forgetting, is actually gone. At this point and moving forward, the use of the veil is only voluntary. It's easier said than done, right? I'm actually not sure how to do it on purpose. I'm finding myself in this perceiving space more and more, where there are physical objects that shouldn't touch it. It's very interesting. Some things are coming in. And so where a lot of us are seeing these in flashes in a lot of cases, especially if it's in a situation where another physical object goes and moves through it, then we notice it suddenly disappears. I think that we just kind of correct our veil in that shock. The most important thing that we need to know right now is how amazing the love of God is. We all have our return to source in some way. And I'm getting channeled, so I have to say that this love of God is so beautiful and so pure and so overwhelmingly lovely. It's like the best, most amazing hug in the whole world. The opposite of that is fear, right? Very near to fear is shame and, diminishing self kinds of things, guilt and all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of things built into our matrix system that has to do with shaming, with teaching us to be down and not believe in ourselves. A lot of these fear tactics that we're experiencing right now has nothing to do with any kind of reality. It is a narrative to pull you away from that love. For as we're ascending, we're moving closer and closer and closer and closer to that pure, beautiful, perfect love. And fear doesn't stop that ascension experience, okay? You are continuing. You're here and you're being a part of this. There are rumors of other things, as they have been quoted in different ancient texts, but that's not in our reality. It's truly not happening here. And so such is true for all these other things. So you're continuing to ascend. You're going up the way. And what fear does, it doesn't make you stop. It just delays maybe for a moment you're experiencing that ascension space. And so a lot of the times when we see these beautiful beings of light, the first moment that we see them, there is this space of alarm. The reason that you're seeing them is that you're now vibrating at this higher frequency. You've moved up octaves. not a singular, but plural, octaves, enough to be able to perceive these beautiful beings of light. Yes, not all of them have a humanoid expression of themselves, but if you're curious too, if there's anything that in your mind that you feel like you should doubt, if you have an energetic experience, just send love to it. The energy of I love you, like that I'm sending to you right now. Send out that love. If it is of love, it will answer back with love plus more love. If it is not of love, it will flee. It cannot exist in the space of love. Love is the strongest and most powerful weapon. The hippies were right. Who knew? You know, and it's just so beautiful. In order to get to that space where you can experience love at its fullest, is a place that many of us didn't realize. It could seem so counterintuitive. However, it's forgiving self. I know it sounds strange, but we forgive ourselves for even those expressions in our mind. Perhaps we've been a victim multiple times, and we forgave those individuals who had perpetrated against us. There are those pieces, those bits that we hang on to, that we feel responsible for, to blame in some way. And in that, it echoes through and keeps us down. It's like a block to our heart. And so, in that experience, we go there and we forgive ourselves. Say your name aloud. I forgive you. Every time something flashes up. We're in the Lionsgate season. We're here, people. And we're having a lot of inner critic that's just shouting and guilting us. But that's not meant to hurt or cause this harm. What's happening here is things are being brought up for us. Things that need to be resolved. Resolved in more of witnessing them. They happened. That happened. You existed. And now your mission is done. And I thank you for your service. I acknowledge them without judgment. It doesn't matter how they do or don't apply to me or anyone in my experience. And then I release them by sending them off with love, with that of love. And that helps them to move on. These energies don't want to be here either. And that's why we're feeling this vibration through our core and up and out. A lot of us, we're really good at the last 4 chakras, but we haven't had much practice with the lower first 3. And so now we're learning how important it is. And those grounding things that could never occur before are starting. We're having this weird sensation where it feels like that lower part of your body is actually physically vibrating. That is the activation of your root chakra, of your the red space in your chakra center, and on and up. And as we're doing that, we're being able to channel this stuff out. We get to be the conduits to help these energies, these pockets that are kind of stuck here. We're helping them to move. You know, we're in a new experience now. A space where these energies aren't in the same frequency of. They don't want to be here either. So as these things pop up, please remember that. And as you're feeling these vibrations and sleepless nights, hot, cold flashes, weird dreams, or a lot of us who are used to remembering our dreams aren't remembering them any longer. Maybe a day or so later. It's very bizarre. Not even sure if I'm remembering a dream from 5 years ago, from my childhood, or from last week. But all this information is coming up and being reminded to us. A lot of our deja vus are coming back. Oh yeah, that was what that was meant to be. All of these experiences are coming to assist us. You know, we're going to continue to have this weird itchy experience. The rashes on my legs and stuff hasn't been as bad as it was before, but it is an issue. The sinuses popping and clicking, as well as in the ears. A lot of us are having oral and neck related stuff. That has to do with our throat chakra finally fully coming online. I'm noticing I'm having a cough, especially when it's something important to say. A lot of us have spent much of our experiences in multiple times not fully able to say what's true, not to be able to speak authentically like we do now. And so that's coming online. We started a Zoom meeting in order for a lot of us to practice this, because it's weird, right? You finally get to talk about this stuff, and so many people are going through it and relating. And so we have these meetings that we do 3 times a week, and they're always free on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. There are different times, and so please keep an eye out on my community section on my YouTube channel here. And I will post the day before the time and also the link, for I put a new link in each meeting in order to renew that energy space. I'm sorry I didn't go through all the Ascension symptoms that I thought I would. We're having a lot of exhaustion, and that happens every year during the Lion's Gate. We're leading into the August 8th window. We're already in those strongly in those energies. And so we're having this exhaustion as we activate, as we awaken, as all this DNA that's been sleeping is now coming online, and we're able to access it. A new muscle, guys. And so please remember to be gentle with yourself. I keep hearing that be as gentle with yourself as you would a child first learning to ride a bike. There's a lot of steps to get to that point. And that's while you're still using the training wheels. We're a lot to learn, and we're doing it together. Trust yourself and forgive yourself. I'll put up a link for a really good self-forgiveness meditation from Brian Scott that was really groundbreaking for me. I am sending you so much love. Thank you for your service. I know it's hard, but no, please, you're not alone. We're all with you. We came in here together, fully armed, fully prepared. And now as we're fully awake, we're getting there anyway. As sleeper agents, now we're finally remembering a bit. We're becoming more and more capable. No, you've always had these skills. You've always had these abilities. It's just that you hadn't welcomed them into your space. And now they're here. You got this. I hope you're having a lovely journey. Aho blessings.